I'm Dave Yandell. I'm one of the organizers of the Brick Church Music Series here in Williston. I'm sitting with Keith Gaylord, one of the other organizers. There are 6 of us that run the series. We have been doing this now this will be our 11th season. And we'll give you a little overview of it. It's a charitable activity. Our goal is partly to produce a high quality entertainment activity right in the village, Williston, to use this beautiful venue, the Brick Church, but also to raise money for charities, particularly local charities and nonprofits. We have supported quite a number of different groups, and we're not affiliated formally with any particular church or organization. This is simply a group of community members that 10 years ago we realized the acoustics in this church are absolutely superlative. It just doesn't get better for performance. We haven't put together a stage. The stage was not a high point in terms of our early planning, but we are able to run a music series 7 times a year from October through April. Keith will give us a little more detail of the upcoming season. Each event is a charitable activity where we have a different nonprofit or charity that we're raising money for that night. 100% of the proceeds, once we've paid musicians and paid our overhead costs, 100% goes back to the charity. It's all volunteer. We pride ourselves in having high quality music, professionally done sound and lighting. This is not a high school stage. This is a really a good ticket for the price. We also try really hard to keep our ticket prices in an accessible range for the community. We start early and we finish early on a Friday night. So it's great for family, great family activity. We welcome all ages. But I think the most important point is this is a really high quality series, wonderful, wonderful acts, very affordable, and it's right here in the heart of Williston, in a historic building, beautiful historic building. It's a community activity that brings people together. Keith, you tell us a little more about our charities and our acts.
Well, there are 4 others. We've got Rick McGuire, the town manager. Peter English does our sound. And David Kramer does a lot of the copy and helps us with some visibility through social media. And Bob Pasco does a great job working with the beneficiaries. We're also very grateful to Nancy Stone, who is our curator. We have great music. We have great art. Nancy brings in someone different for every show. And we have great treats, which are brought by the beneficiaries. We do have 3 standing sponsors. The town of Williston is very generous with this space. The Williston Observer has been behind this all the seasons. It's been very generous with giving us space in the Observer. And then we have Peter English, who does our sound. He's a professional sound engineer, and we're very grateful for that. And the musicians love it because they sound good. He makes them sound even better. And I do have to say that without exception, musicians who haven't played here before, when we ask them, did you like it? They love it. One of the acoustics that David mentioned, but also the proximity. We hold 140 maximum here. We're not going to go to another venue. Keep it small. Everybody loves it.
Very intimate.
Very, very intimate. If I left anything else? We're really fortunate to have a season presenting sponsor this year, Piper Realty. And that came as a result of an earlier support for a program. They liked it so much, they said this is a great opportunity for them to contribute materially to the community and to the program, but also it helps them.
Yeah, so, Piper is a new business in town. Danielle Pesamenti is the principal, and she is a wonderful person to work with, and we are so thankful to be able to have that presenting sponsorship this season. It helps us to bring in acts that we couldn't otherwise bring in, given our ticket prices and the size of the venue, which is limiting sometimes.
Right. So before we get into the program itself, the folks that we give money to, David mentioned, everything beyond our overhead and paying the artists goes to a local charity. And we have some, we'll call them regulars. For example, the Williston Richmond Rotary is always our first show, and they do what it is we hope our beneficiaries do. They help generate an audience. They provide great food. We have people here helping out with doors and moving equipment around and so on. So we're very grateful. And we've been introduced to some beneficiaries. We just had no awareness of the contribution they make to not just the local population, but throughout. Vermont Community Garden is one of them. Mm-hmm. Salvation Farms is another, but we work with the library. We work with Rotary, as we said. And it's really, everything works out very, very well. Everybody pitches in. Personally, one of the things that I enjoy is there are folks, when I go shopping at Hannaford's or Shaw's or whatever it is, say, hey, you're with the Big Church Music Series. I only know them as a result of this. They're not my neighbors per se. They're Willistonians, and really, that's a lot of fun. So the lineup, what we try to do is provide a variety of music and genres. We could do bluegrass on every show, and that would please a certain group of people. On the other hand, we commit ourselves to finding classical music, jazz. What are some of the other genres?
Well, we've had the last 2 years. This year also we'll be presenting one or two country acts, which is very popular. And we didn't realize we hadn't had country music in our first 8 or 9 years, and it's going to be wonderful. Jamie Lee Thurston will be our opener this year. He's a he's a native Vermonter now. He's at Nashville, and it's really a wonderful.
Big deal.
Oh, it's a terrific show, even if country music is not what you normally listen to.
My wife said country, and she came and she walked out of here tapping her toe. He was fabulous with the others, but she said, I had no idea the country could be so engaging and such a wonderful performance, performance.
We present folk music, indie pop. Often we'll have singer-songwriter type presenters that are local, or they may be regional or even international touring artists. We've had quite a few international acts that are full-time professional musicians that are on tour, and we've been able to book them here. But we also like to support regional and local talent. It's very important to us that we provide a venue for some of these local musicians to perform, including opening acts for many of our shows.
Let's just talk a little bit about the opening act. This is an effort to encourage musicians who are a little bit beyond busking on the street, people who have performed before, but give them a real audience. And we compensate them, and we want to make sure that they feel as though they're contributing and they're getting something in return, an opportunity, a little remuneration. Not for every concert, but many of the concerts we do that. So we mentioned Jamie Lee Thurston. That's going to be October 12th. Christine Malcolm Band.
Christine is very diverse. She plays all over Vermont. Plays in a lot of different configurations. Some would call her country, some would say pop. She's a little more, not as hardcore country, but really a fun, really fun evening. That'll be terrific. December, tell them about December. This is a tradition also then.
A group called Cantiamo, which again is made up by local musicians, singers, and we make it seasonal. It's not purely secular, but it's an opportunity for local musicians to lead a traditionally holiday event, and it allows the audience to join in as well. Is that?
Yeah, and oftentimes a cappella could be a choir, could be. We've had the Vermont Youth Chorus, we've had Middlebury Chorus, we've had a number of different. Cantiamo is again a private group, but small a cappella, lovely music.
Yeah, in January, we've got a very interesting program. A pianist and her husband, accordion.
Jeremiah McLean and Annemieke McLean are married. Many will know Annemieke is a classical pianist locally. She does, and Jeremiah plays many different instruments, but they will present a wonderful evening. They call themselves the Casoto Duet or Duo, and it will be Neapolitan music, accordion and piano, not a lot of folk stuff, but literally we're working on a second duo for that evening. That evening is still coming together, but that'll be a really fun evening.
Now this is another concert where people go, what? You know, like you're going piano and accordion, and they'll walk out of here going, I never would have thought.
Yeah,
That was fabulous.
Last year we presented an evening of Spanish music, South American Spanish.
Knocked it out of the park.
Classical soprano. And her husband was a classical guitarist.
He's Colombian.
Colombian, and she sang in the opera in Bogota for many years. She's actually a Vermont product, and they've moved back here recently. That's the kind of evening we strive toward, and we do have people coming up afterwards saying, "Where did you find this?
Right. Where have they been?"
Yeah, where have they been? This is something we really try to surprise people with the quality, but also the character of what we have. Gypsy music. We have this year we have Rowan coming, and Rowan is an Irish band.
Celtic, yeah.
You know, usually most years we have a Celtic show.
Yep.
That'll be our Celtic show this year.
Yep.
And this year we're closing with Patty Larkin.
But before that, we have Paul Asbell. There's some folks in the community here. Paul's been playing here for 40 years or something like that, and he's renowned. He tours away from Vermont, but loves to play for local audiences here. So we'll have a nice jazz guitar here for that one. Yeah, and one thing that we may do again this year is work with Advanced Music and put on, in effect, a singer-songwriter, but we call it Brick Church Rising Stars, and we may add that to our program, so it may extend into
bonus concert.
Bonus concert, yeah, it's a
for
bonus
the season
concert
ticket holders.
What have we left out?
Venue,
Tickets.
Tickets. Where do you get tickets?
Tickets.
Where do you go?
You can get them from the town hall. You can go online, buy them at the door. Doors open at 6:30. Concerts start promptly at 7.
Friday night, once
Friday
a month.
nights, once a month.
October through April.
Typically the second Friday of the month.
Typically.
If you just do a search on Brick Church Music Series, you're going to get both the Facebook listing as well as the Brick Church website, which is affiliated with the town website.
Information is on both about upcoming concerts.
If you'd like to know more about it, you can sign up online on the website and say you'd like to receive notices of when upcoming concerts are. So that's a great way to stay in touch.
We have discounted tickets for people who buy early. We have discounted a senior price. It's discounted. Most of our shows, the walk in the door ticket, standard adult ticket is usually $15 or thereabouts. Some shows we need to adjust that slightly. Usually we adjust it by not having discounted. But if you really want a good deal, buy a season ticket. It's 7 shows for the price of, I think, 5.5.
Right.
And the discounts do apply. We have a senior rate as well for those. So can't be beat.
When I meet some of these folks in the grocery store, it's the best ticket in town. It really is. It really is.
Yeah.